Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about Primarchs. I want to talk about Primarchs returning in the 8th edition, because there's been a lot of debate. There's been a lot of unhappiness. There's been happiness. There's been a lot of talk about Primarchs and what Primarch is coming back. But I just want to talk about the actual Primarchs returning to the storyline in this edition. So let's jump in and let's get started. So for those of you who have been on the loop for the past year or so, we have 3 confirmed Primarchs that have returned to us via the tabletop, an 8th edition. One is Rebooty Gilman. He has awoken from stasis. He has been cured from his ailments given to him by Fulgrim. We have Magnus the Red, who got his revenge on the Space Wolves. He basically burnt Fenris to a crisp and destroyed everything on Fenris. And we have Glorious Mortarion, who is back in Nurgle's name, spreading his glorious plague all over. So we have 3 confirmed Primarchs so far. And in the codexes, we do get hints to other Primarchs returning. One being Fulgrim. There's like an extract, I think it's actually in the main Warhammer rulebook if I'm not mistaken, where a huge serpent-like figure was seen roaming the battlefield. A lot of it's been muted out by like the Inquisition with their black marker, so you don't really know what's really going on. Angron was trying to get summoned back on the world of Armageddon, which was stopped. So if I remember correctly, it was stopped by the Salamanders. The Salamanders and the Imperial Guard units who were on there stopped that summoning of Angron, so he was nearly brought back and unleashed on Armageddon. And of course, we have hints at other loyalist Primarchs returning. Now, I could delve into this and speak about this for hours, but I'm not going to do that. Sanguinius could return if you want to go down that route. The Lion is more or less definitely going to return. I can see it now. Rogel Dawn, I hope he does return. I don't know where he is. He was hinted at being alive in the Beast That Rises series. Go and read that if you want. It is an awesome book series. And of course, if you want to believe the hype, Vulcan is one of the prime candidates to return, because Vulcan is a perpetual and perpetuals cannot die. So with all this information that we have now, we have all the stories of the Primarchs returning, all the battles and stuff like that. How do you feel about Primarchs in this edition? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? I personally love it. I am over the moon that Primarchs are returning in 8th edition. I was a huge fan of the Horus Heresy Primarch battles. Now, I know a lot of people, and, you know, this is a valid point. A lot of people saying Primarch should stay in 30k, because 30k is where they had their time. That's where the legends were made and the stories descended through the the thousands of years since then, down to where we are now, and they were just legends, myths, characters in that era where they should have stayed in that era, and that's where they belonged in that era. But of course, you have to look at this, I think, from a business side, from GW. And when I say business side as well, if you actually go on to the stocks, and now I'm actually saying this on what date is it? This is the 7th of the 12th, 2017. Hey, it's my birthday. I just looked at the GW stock, and it is the highest it's been, I think, in the past 5 years. So from a business standpoint, bringing the Primarchs back in this whole launch of 8th edition with the new story, the new Primarchs Marines, everything that's been happening has boosted their stock prices and their their stock value. It's been a fantastic business model for them, all in all. I personally think it was a guaranteed success, because Forge World, when they started doing their Horus Heresy stuff, that sold massively. I think it was outselling GW stuff, because people wanted all these cool Primarch models. They wanted, they actually wanted characters from that era where their legends of their chapters were born and stuff. And GW have obviously looked at this, and they've wanted a piece of the pie, and they've pushed the 8th edition out. They've changed the story where you have Primarchs Marines now, and of course Primarchs coming back. And the Primarchs returning, just like I said, has been fantastic for me. But I'm in the zone where I am a complete fanboy when it comes to Primarchs. So my judgment is very, very clouded in the positive light. I can't really see any negatives in that. Now, I'm hoping that this video will inspire some people to come forward who see it in the negative light, so I can get your viewpoint actually on the situations of Primarchs returning to 8th. I personally think that it's enhanced the story, it's enriched the story, it's made the story more personal, more better. When Magnus came back and burnt Fenris, when Rebooted Gilliman awoke and he fought Magnus on the moon of Luna, all this kind of awesome stuff that was happening in the 8th edition. There's some scenes where Rebooted Gilliman confronts the Emperor. He actually confronts the Imperium as a whole of what it's become, and those scenes are very, very emotional. If you actually read the book in Dark Imperium, you know, he comes to the realization, I'm sure there's a quote somewhere where he says, it actually would have been better if we burnt in the fires of Horus's heresy than to see what the Imperium has become today. And those words are very, very hard hitting. You know, stuff like that when the Primarchs are coming back and they're seeing this Imperium which they went out and built the foundations of, and it's just become like a rotting carcass. I personally think it's amazing, because I love all that political side of things where, you know, they come back and they've got to, well, I'm hoping Rebooted Gilliman tries to fix it, and he rustles some feathers, and maybe it's the Inquisition feathers, and maybe there's like a kind of secret inner war. This is me just going into fandom now at the moment. But all this kind of stuff, I think it really opens the door for some brand new stories, Black Library wise. I know we've been actually getting some already with the Dark Imperium novel, like I just said, Watchers on the Throne. There's the Devastation of Baal, which is just came out. There's another Dark Angel one coming out soon, and there's a Space Wolf one coming out soon as well. So there's a lot being pushed forward on that front as well, which I think has enriched the story and the lore more, and made it a lot better for a lot more people like myself who enjoy that kind of stuff. From another viewpoint, I think 8th edition and the Primarchs returning as well has turned me from 30k. Like, I was quite a big 30k collector. Like, I had well, I didn't have a huge army, but I had a moderate sized Imperial Fist 30k force. But since 8th edition came out, I've just put those on a back burner. I've collected Primaris Marines. I'm hoping to start an Imperial Guard regiment in the future with 8th edition. Maybe like a little inquisitorial force or something awesome like that. That's another video for another time. But 8th edition and the Primarchs returning and everything else that's been happening in it, well, like Cadia Fallen and stuff like that, has got me back into Warhammer tabletop. And if you look at that again from another business standpoint, that's another awesome shot from GW. They've got someone else back into the hobby, and I know for a fact that's just not me. A lot of my friends who weren't really sold on 7th edition and, you know, the way it was just a pretty stagnant. It was just, you know, it's just that endless war. There's nothing really happening. The Emperor's Golden Throne, it's got to fail, it's not going to fail. But then all of a sudden you have this massive rift that rips across the galaxy. There's Demon Primarchs coming out. A Loyalist Primarch returns back, and of course we've got hints of other Loyalists and other Demon Primarchs returning back. It got me so excited. It's like, right, I want to jump in. I want to grab the bull by its horns, and I want to experience this edition now, because it's really, really exciting. It's really, really fun, and I want to get in on the ground level, and I want some fun. I want to jump in, and I'm having this. So Primarchs returning, I am all for it. I hope more return. I hope we see the Lion. I hope we see Dawn. I hope we see Vulcan return on the Loyalist side. I hope we see more Demon Primarchs return. But for you guys who hate this, who absolutely despise this whole story of Primarchs coming back, please leave a comment below. Let's not go into like bad language or, you know, calling certain authors names or certain people at GW names or anything like that. Let's have a nice healthy discussion on why you dislike Primarchs returning in this new edition. I just list your points. I'm not going to judge you at all. I'm not going to do anything like that. I really want a nice conversation why you dislike Primarchs returning, and we can just, you know, talk it out, and hopefully you'll give me some good valid points, and I can reply with some good valid points to you. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I know it's quite a touchy subject to speak about 8th edition and Primarchs, Primaris, all that kind of stuff, but I think everyone over on this channel who, like, the regular people who comment on my videos, we're all adults, we're all we know how to communicate with each other without getting nasty and being stupid and stuff like that. So I look forward to your replies and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's, you know, 8th edition's got me excited. It really, really has got me excited. I'm for once in the past, what, 5 to 10 years, I'm excited about playing tabletop again, and the Primarchs returning has a huge factor in that. So for me, it's all good. But like I said, please let me know how you feel. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you all very, very soon, brothers. See you now, and bye-bye.